This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Pieces of me, they run around in your head, they live rent free. There's nothing you can do about it, and I feel no pain, and I feel no shame. It's kinda cute, goddamn, you're so in love with me. I've been caught up in nothing, I'm ready to go. Been a while since you smiled, I'm taking it slow. And all those words you said, they're just inside my head. 25, I'm alive and I'm ready to go.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Tuesday, February the 24th of 2026, and we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes, that's what we do. We kind of hang out and do our thing. Why does that sound so low?
Duh.
I don't know. I'm asking you the question. If I knew the answer, I wouldn't be asking. So there you go. Okay, so why don't we do this? Why don't we talk a little bit about everything that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse? Because that's kind of what we do around here. Anyways, how's the last 24 hours or so been for you? Because that's always important. We talk a little bit about this. We talk a little bit about that. And we kind of go through the plethora of things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So there you go. Some stuff always going on inside of there. So how have you been? What have you done in the last 24? Maybe that's more of the question that we should be asking. No, seriously, I only ask these things because I'm always morbidly curious on what people are doing, what people have going on, and all that kind of fun stuff. No, seriously. It's not a joke as I say it. It's one of those things that I look at it and I go, if, and that's a big if, not a big whiff, but a big if. I always go, where do you end up doing stuff as you're going through the whole sequence of events? Because I look around and I go, the world that we are in the world of safety that we talk about almost on a consistent basis here on how much it changes day in and day out. So how is this a consistency look for you on your end of the woods? Like, seriously, it's not like kind of one of those joke things or folklore, if one may say it in that way. So let's talk about what we do around here. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's kind of what we do. We bring in some professional broadcasters. They talk a little bit about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's what they do. And then I give you some level of a main story, and then we kind of go and jump around a little bit. Jump up, and get down. And that's it. That's the whole kit and caboodle. So If you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process in doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging are the options. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, I'm going to tell you, it opens a plethora of things. It gives me a little prompter on the screen that I know exactly what I need to do next based on what you're telling me. Then we go from there. That's it. That is it. That is how we move. So if you're good with that, I'm good with that, and we get everything going for sure. So with that being said, here's how it's going to work. I'm going to bring in my friends from Feature Story News. They're going to come in, tell us about what the hell is going on, and then we're going to get into it. So if you're good with that, I'm good with that. So let's go ahead and get into the news right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Hong Kong, I'm Laura Westbrook. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is heading to Israel as Delhi and Tel Aviv look to cement partnerships in defense, investment and strategic areas. But the trip also comes as US media reports that President Donald Trump is weighing military strikes on Iran. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
9 years after his first historic trip to Israel, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to return for a 2-day visit starting February 25th. The agenda this time could focus on security, defense co-production and innovation, with both sides keen to show that this is now a long-term strategic partnership, not a one-off diplomatic gesture. Over the last decade, Israel has quietly become one of India's most important defense partners, and reports say joint development of anti-ballistic missile defense, laser weapons and long-range standoff missiles and drones could be on the cards during this visit.
Mexico has deployed thousands of soldiers to stop violence which erupted following the military's killing of the head of one of the country's powerful cartels. Ira Spitzer reports from San Francisco.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said that activities are proceeding normally in most of the country, despite the eruption of violence centered around Jalisco State and the coastal city of Puerto Vallarta that left at least 73 people dead. Nemesio Oseguera's killing comes as U.S. President Donald Trump has ramped up pressure on his southern neighbor to crack down on the cartels who play a major role in the fentanyl and cocaine trade in the United States. Washington had a $15 million bounty on the cartel boss, and U.S. intelligence provided assistance to the operation. Ira Spitzer, San Francisco.
US President Donald Trump has threatened to put higher tariffs on countries that want to play games after a key US Supreme Court ruling. The country's highest court says the levies imposed by Mr. Trump last year, based on a national emergency law, were illegal. Kate Fisher reports from Washington.
Just over a year into Donald Trump's second term in office, and the Supreme Court has invalidated a vast swathe of his tariff policy, triggering a critical response from the president. He slammed the Supreme Court on his Truth Social platform, claiming he could use licenses to do absolutely terrible things to foreign countries, and the Congress had given him the power to use other kinds of tariff laws in a much more powerful and obnoxious way with legal certainty. He also continued to assert his ability to raise tariffs, warning of higher duties for countries that want to play games after the High Court's ruling. Kate Fisher, Washington.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today at President Trump's possible plans for military action in Iran. He has assembled the largest force of American power that the region has seen since the war on Iraq in 2003. But Greg Karlstrom, Middle East correspondent for The Economist, says it's still not clear what exactly the US president is going to do with it.
You don't deploy this volume of firepower to the region, not just the 2 aircraft carriers, but dozens of F-35 fighter jets and other warplanes that have arrived in the Middle East over the past week. You don't deploy all of that unless you are seriously thinking about using it. I don't think this is just a bluff or a negotiating tactic. And if it is, it's probably the most expensive bluff in American military history. But I think Trump has not yet decided what he wants to do with it, because there isn't a sort of easy, attractive option. One thing we know about Trump from the past year of his second term, he likes sort of quick, decisive military action where he can point to something that's been an immediate win. And there just isn't that sort of option right now.
Over the weekend, President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff said Iran is a week away from having industrial-grade materials to make a nuclear weapon. Yet last July, the White House claimed that Iran's nuclear sites were obliterated by the president's bunker-busting bomb attack on them. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. Mexico sends thousands of soldiers onto the streets to stop violence sparked by the killing of the country's most wanted drug lord. The UK's former ambassador to the United States, Peter Mandelson, was released on bail pending further investigation after his arrest on suspicion of misconduct in public office. US President Donald Trump warns that countries that play games could face higher tariffs after a key Supreme Court ruling. And that's the latest feature story news. Laura Westbrook reporting.
Oh. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
Safety never sounded so terrible.
Rated R Safety Show.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. No, seriously, this lovely Tuesday is definitely the day that we're hanging out. It's what it sounds like. So if you're good, I'm good. Let's start getting into all of the stuff that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that is kind of what we do. So seriously, I really just think we need to get into some stuff. So let's start off with some odd news, because I think that it's always a good place to start off. An 18-year-old Ohio woman night spiraled fast and ended in a jail cell. Jade Kane was arrested on February the 16th after police responded to a domestic disturbance, and her boyfriend's family came home in Canton. According to officers, Kane was intoxicated, allegedly from drinking hand sanitizers. Body cam footage shows officers trying to get the control of the situation. When they tried to put her in the patrol car, Kane reportedly dropped to the ground in protest. Once inside the vehicle, she yelled that her shoe came off and then punched an officer in the face. The officer shut the door, and she was taken to Stark County Jail. Things didn't calm down from there either. Police say that Kane repeatedly kicked her cell door, damaged her head against it, and slipped one hand out of her cuffs. I guess those damn things weren't tight enough then, and then slammed the handcuffs against the window until the glass shattered. She had now charged with assault of a peace officer and vandalism. Bond is set to $50,000, and she's due back in court today. Authorities also said that this is the second time officers had been called to the home over a disturbance involving Kane and her boyfriend, though no physical violence between the couple was reported. She said she wanted a clean buzz. I guess that's one way to go about it when it's all said and done, if you think about it.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so have you heard about this new viral star that's coming out of Alabama? An Alabama foster kitten is going viral for a feature you don't see every day, and that's an extra set of ears. Dobby, a 7-month-old black kitten, was born with an additional pair of flaps that look smaller ears tucked in behind the regular ones. Despite the double take, his foster mom says that he doesn't affect his hearing at all. He's perfectly healthy on the front, but he's also rocking a short curl tail. Just to make things even more interesting, Dobby's foster caregiver Stephanie Brown shared photos and videos online, and the internet did what the internet does, turned him into a mini celebrity. He does need surgery to correct an overbite, but once that's handled, Dobby will be available for adoption through Kitty Cat Haven Rescue. 4 ears, curly tail, viral fame. Not bad for a kitten who hasn't even hit his first birthday, so there you go. I know. The stuff
the internet
tends to do. I know. It happens in regards to what we have going on. Okay, take a listen to this. In Italy, police say that a man trained his dog to do his dirty work. Literally, surveillance footage shows the dog trotting down a street with a plastic trash bag in his mouth, dropping it on the roadside, then calmly heading back to where he came from. Authorities believe that the dog's owner trained him to dump a garbage in unauthorized areas to avoid paying trash collection fees. After reviewing the CCTV, municipal police identified the dog and fined the owner's official call it the move inventive, but said that creatively doesn't excuse being uncivil, especially when it involves littering and using your pet as the fall guy. Under Italian law, illegal dumping fines ranges from $1,500 to $18,000. There's no clause about canine compliance. That's not a fetch, that's a felony when you start thinking about it. So there you go. Okay. So let's talk about this because I think we need to. Have you noticed that the use of AI is getting out of control? No, I'm being serious, and let me explain why I say that. And I don't mean that in a bad way because, listen, we use AI around here. I'm sure at this point, unbeknownst to you or unbeknownst to most, you probably use AI in a lot of stuff that you do. And it is kind of the way that it goes. But this one gets a little bit more interesting. A Washington, D.C. area real estate listing went viral after an eagle-eye internet user spotted something extra in the bathroom photo. It is what appears to be an AI-edited image of Fort Totten property, a horrifying flesh-like creature that can be seen crawling out of the bathroom mirror, reaching towards the flower pot of the sink. Not subtle, not abstract, full-on nightmare feel. The listing was posted by apartments.com and later taken down, but not before screenshots were preserved. Social media lit up with users wondering how anyone could miss this melted demon crawling the way out into the guest bath. AI photo enhancements has become a common in real estate. Brighter lighting, virtual staging, cleaner counters. But this time, the algorithm didn't just fluff pillows. It summoned something from the assumptions. The realtor was in a rush and didn't double check the images before hitting publish, and apparently forgot to mention that bathrooms include vanity, updated fixtures, and a portal to the underworld, because that's sure as shit what happened. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and 1 unspeakable entity. Stainless steel appliances and stainless steel nerves required. Zillow needs a new filter. Exclude possessed properties. Talk about a fixer-upper. Start with holy water is maybe the way that it should be listed. The HOA does not cover paranormal activities. And natural light updated tile. An ancient curse included. The bathroom said Candyman 3 times by itself, and you know what happened there. That's what it sounds like. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world. Okay, so should we get a little bit more serious? Because I know we're trying to go into the lighter side because, man, I have to tell you, by the time that I get here, and go through the news cycle, I'm like,
what the fuck is going on out there?
So that's maybe sometimes where we go into the lighter side of stuff. But maybe, we should get into some more serious business. So let's go ahead and do that. The president's FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, is urging TV broadcasters not to lean hard into patriotism ahead of America. Is urging, I said that incorrectly, to lean hard into patriotism ahead of the America's 250th birthday on July the 4th. Carr, appointed by President Trump, announced a new initiative, Pledge America, as part of the White House Task Force 250. The idea is to encourage stations to air more pro-America programming leading up to the milestone celebration. Among the suggestions, running public service announcements focus on civic education, spotlighting local historical landmarks during the news broadcast, offering daily Today in America history segments, and even starting each broadcast each day with the national anthem or the Pledge of Allegiance. Carr also floated the idea of airing music from classic American composers like John Phillip, Aaron Copland, Duke Ellington, just to name a few, along with partnering with community groups to highlight stories of unity and perseverance. He framed the push as part of the broadcaster's public interest responsibility, calling for renewed national pride and engagement as the country approaches the 250-year celebration. Now, let's talk about that for a moment, because I think that that's going to be interesting. Did he say start the broadcast day off by playing the national anthem or doing the Pledge of Allegiance? Now, I will tell you, because I'm older than probably most here, when I was a kid, the broadcast day would end, and they would say something like, "This concludes our broadcast day." Okay. And so then the screen would go static through the overnight because nothing was playing. Yes, that was a thing back in the day. And then in the morning, when they would come back to do business, they would play the national anthem before the whole thing started. So at no point during the day now does the screen go black or does it go dark, because normally now it's 24 hours, 7 days a week running of television input. So why would we go ahead and turn around now and say, So I'm just kind of trying to figure that out, because that seems to be one of those things to think about. So what's your thought process when it comes to the whole thing altogether?
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so a couple of different things. FedEx has gone to court demanding that the government pay back every penny after President Trump's emergency tariffs were struck down as illegal. The company filed a lawsuit yesterday in the U.S. Court of International Trade asking for a full refund on all duties it paid under Trump's tariff. Tariffs is the Supreme Court of the United States just ruled that they were unlawful because Trump didn't have authority under International Emergency Economic Power Act, IEEPA. FedEx says that it was forced to cough up these tariffs, even though they've now have been declared invalid, and he wants all the money back. The suit doesn't say how much that actually adds up to, but the first big case of its kind since the court's decisions. Now, let me ask you a strange question, because you know that this is going to happen. How long is it going to be before we hear about how shitty, yeah, and I did say the word shitty, FedEx is, according to the president, because of this? I'm just asking. Is it? I mean, you kind of you see the sequences. I'm just going based on pattern recognition in regard to what happened. So there you go. So take a listen to this, because I think we need to talk about it real quick. Deepak Chopra attempt to minimize his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein just hit the wall of receipts. Newly reviewed Justice Department files show that Chopra exchanged hundreds of messages with Epstein between 2016 and 2019, including weeks before Epstein's final arrest. The records indicate that he also visited Epstein's home in New York, Florida, and Paris. Some messages also signed Love and XO. At one point, Chopra wrote he was deeply grateful for our friendship. That clashes with Chopra's recent public claim that his contact with Epstein was limited and unrelated to the Epstein crimes, adding that earlier this month there was no misconduct. According to the reports, the tone of the message was friendly and at times eyebrow-raising. Chopra twice invited Epstein to visit him and told him to bring your girls, even suggesting he use a fake name for travel. In one exchange, after Chopra said that he had a crazy day, Epstein replied that he'd like to send 2 girls. In another message, Chopra told Epstein that he can't talk about girls. Epstein also once told Chopra that he liked watching you zero in on your prey, referring to a woman. Beyond that, the two discussed philosophy, politics, and possible business ventures. Epstein donated $50,000 to Chopra's foundation, and they exchanged ideas about a wellness app. In early 2019, Epstein dealt with negative press. Chopra advised him to stay silent, meditate, and reportedly downplay the concerns over the heavy headlines. Well, shit, that sounds definitely more than just friendly, that's for sure. So think about that for just one moment as we are talking.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this because, you know, if you've been watching the Olympics, even though I know they're over now, but let's talk about this. Lindsey Vonn says that her crash at the Olympics was far more serious than anyone realized, and it nearly cost her leg. On an Instagram post yesterday, Vonn revealed that she suffered not just a complex tibial fracture, but also a tibial plateau fracture that fractured the fibula head in the downhill of the crash. The biggest danger just isn't the broken bones. It was the compartment syndrome and the conditions where the swelling and bleeding create extreme pressure inside the muscle. Compartment cutting of blood flow, if treated immediately, and the muscles, nerves, and tissues can die, potentially leading to amputation. Vonn said that the pressure in the leg became so severe that emergency surgery was required. She credited the orthopedic surgeon who was already on site after previously treating her ACL tear and saving her leg. So there you go. That is one crazy thing when we start thinking about it when it's all said and done. So there you go. Let's give you a couple more before we get into our
Meme story.
Okay, a federal judge in Florida has blocked the public release of former Special Counsel Jack Smith's reports on classified documents found in the President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. U.S. District Judge Aileen M. Cannon ruled Monday that the report cannot be made public, citing her earlier decision that Smith was illegally appointed back in July of 2024. Cannon determined that Smith's appointment by then President Joe Biden violated the Constitution's appointment clause. She argued that Smith was given the overly broad authority, indefinite scope, and insufficient supervision. Smith had been tasked with investigating whether Trump mishandled classified documents after leaving office. The probe led to 41 criminal counts against the president, but Cannon dismissed the case in 2024. In her latest order, Cannon said that Smith appeared to rush completion of the report before leaving office in January of 2025. When President Trump began his second term, she also noted that some of the material in the report was covered under the 2023 protective order, which bars public release without court approval. Cannon further argued that releasing the report would cause irreparable damage to the former defendants, including Trump aide and Mar-a-Lago staffers Carlo de Oliveira, who were allegedly charged in the case. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. What do you think about this? Now, like, seriously, what do you think about it? It's a serious question because I'm always curious about these stuff. So I'm going to give you two. One's related to sports. Let's give you two real quick, and then we'll try to get the hell out of here and go into the main story. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao are set to face off once again on September the 19th in Las Vegas. Fear. The bout will stream globally on Netflix, marking another big push of the platform into live sports. Their match comes 11 years after their 2015 mega fight, which Mayweather won by a unanimous decision. The bout that didn't quite match the sky-high hype. This will be Mayweather's first professional fight since 2017 when he stopped Conor McGregor. He also slated for an exhibition bout against Mike Tyson this spring, though details are still pending. Pacquiao, 47, is returning to the ring after a failed presidential bid in the Philippines in 2022 and a brief political chapter that included losing his Senate seat. He's scheduled to a warm-up fight against a Russian on April the 18th in Las Vegas. Pacquiao lost a fight in July, battling then WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios to a majority draw. He details for the September showdown, including weight class and number of rounds, hasn't been announced yet. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. Let me talk about this one because it was making all kinds of rounds a few weeks ago, but let's talk about what happened yesterday. Nick Renner has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder charges in connection with the deaths of his parents. Rob Reiner and Michelle Reiner, the 32-year-old, appeared in court yesterday and reportedly smirked as he entered the courtroom, and he was arrested on December the 15th, a day after his parents were found stabbed to death inside of their Brentwood home in December the 14th. Prosecutors have filed the first-degree murder charges, included a special circumstance allegation, meaning that the death penalty is possibility if the Los Angeles County District Attorney Office decides to pursue the punishment. Nathan Hodgman said that after the arraignment that the case is moving forward and authorities are waiting for the coroner's report. So we'll see what happens there. I'm sure that one we're going to hear a lot about, so keep that in mind. Anyways, this is 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so it's main story time.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's get right into it. It is the main story right here on the Rated R Safety Show, and welcome to episode 1301. That's 1301. Yesterday we crossed that massive milestone. We had hit 1300 episodes, and we celebrated by taking the flamethrower to the safety cartel, and we talked about gatekeepers, velvet rope, and closed loop VIP club that makes up the modern safety industry. Yeah, I know. And the response to the episode, well, it was loud. The signal resonated with some, but today it's the morning after. The smoke is cleared, and we're going to reject the cartel's bullshit, and we can talk about how we actually operate the blue line without them. So let's talk about it. So today I want to talk about the grandest, most expensive stage play in the corporate world. And I want to talk to you about, are you ready for this? The audit. Yes, the audit, because there's no other way to put it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that corporate clipboard warrior descent from the executive floor. They put on their perfect clean high-vis vest that still have those creaks from the plastic packaging. They walk the floor and they look at the paperwork, they check the boxes, and they declare, "You are compliant." And everyone on the floor, breathes a sigh of relief because that's an important thing to do. And not because you're safe, but because the performance is over and they can finally get back to work. And let's call it exactly what it is. It is a simulation. It is fabricated reality designed to make executives feel like they have control over the chaos of the operational world. The cartel builds this massive 400-page binder filled with rigid procedures, the map that just works perfectly. But the map is not of the territory. The map is the fantasy. The territory is where your people are sweating, bleeding, and dealing with broken equipment and impossible deadlines. When you force a worker to prioritize paperwork over physical reality of the job, you are forcing it into a psychological prison. You are forcing them into participate in that simulation. Think about that for a moment.
Duh.
So here it is. This is the thing that physicists named Thomas Campbell, who talks about the concept of entropy, is in physics. High entropy means chaos, disorder, and noise. Low entropy means focus and pure signal. Now, think about safety management systems for a second. Think about audits, the endless forms, the daily observation quotas, and metrics. Does that lower entropy on the job site, or does it create more noise? If you tell me right now the cartel system is pure, high entropy noise, and it distracts the worker that forces them to look at the clipboard instead of looking at the hazard, it replaces human presence with bureaucratic compliance. So how do we break the simulation? How do we lower entropy and find the actual signal? Well, we look outside of the safety profession, and we have to look at the guy who understood how to survive a real fight. Let me explain this to you. Bruce Lee, if you're familiar with the name, good. If you're not, let's kind of go into some stuff. Bruce Lee created a martial art philosophy called Jeet Kune Do. It's an entire premise of JKT was the traditional martial arts had become too rigid. They were obsessed with forms, these long memorized robotic routines that looked beautiful in a dojo, but would get you killed in the actual street fight. Bruce Lee looked at the traditional masters, the cartel of this day, if one may say, and he said, absorb what is useful, discard what is not, and add that uniquely your own. He called it hacking away the unessential. This is exactly what we need to do in our corporate safety manuals. We need to take the Jeet Kune Do approach to operational risk. This is about 400 pages procedures that are rigid, dead forms. They cannot react to a sudden pressure drop in a valve. They cannot react to a crew that is fatigued from working a double shift. The procedures are dead. The worker is alive. So when they rely on the cartel rigid form, we freeze our people. We tell them, don't think, just follow the steps. But reality doesn't follow steps. Reality mutates. The work as imagined shift into the work is done. And suddenly the worker is in a street fight with hazards is what it sounds like. And if we want them to survive, we have to let them hack away the unnecessary, the unessential, if one may say it that way. What happens is if we stop treating the worker as the problem to be controlled and start treating them as the ultimate censor, what happens if we lower entropy, strip away administrative noise, and just say, hey, you are the expert of the blue line. Tell me where the system is lying to us. Tell me where the procedure is going to get somebody hurt. And this is how you intercept reality. This is how you break away out of the simulation. The cartel doesn't want you to do this. By the way, because if you realize that the workers' intuition and adaptability are more valuable than their expensive auditing software, their entire business model collapses. They want you to stay in the simulation. They want you to stay trapped in the high entropy noise. But you don't have to play the game anymore. You can walk out onto the floor today and change the frequency. Stop looking for compliance and stop performing for the clipboard. Start looking for the mutation. Start looking for the gap between the corporate fantasy and the gritty rated R reality of the job. Absorb what is useful and discard what is not. Hack away the unessential noise until all of it that is left is pure, unfiltered signal. That is the work. That is the only thing that matters. Now, think about that for a moment, because I'm going to tell you, if you give this some level of consideration as you go through work today, oh my Lord, can things change for you.
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open-source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, Ph.D. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety Transmission, The Collapse of the Construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
Even though this show is still live, the reviews are pouring in. Here's what Tony just said about today's show. It's great.
I've been laying fire beside my bed. I've been warming up for what's ahead. And you've got ice in your shoes. You're fixing to lose your mind. Your mind. Your mind every time. I've been caught up in nothing.
Okay, here we go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday here on the Rated R Safety Show. Coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, of course, and on RadioBig.fm. Okay, so let's talk about this. This right here is Seth Beamer. The song is titled Ready to Go. It's readily available on YouTube Music, Apple Music, Spotify, and Pandora. We would like to thank Seth Beamer for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt about that one. So a lot of stuff going on here in the multiverse. So let's go. Thank you, Seth, for allowing us to play this. Let's talk about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you're going to see all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. That can change everything for you just by going to the site. You might go there and go, oh, this is not for me. Well, you never know. You never know where you might need this information and be able to assist others. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms, and go to the far right section and click on where it says Find Help. Let's talk about this event coming up. Hotel Santa Fe, March the 31st and April the 1st. It's the Conklin Workshop taking place in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Would love to see you there. We're going to be talking about how to investigate incidents. This one that we're going to be taking a look at is an incident that occurred to Redonda Voigt. So there you go. We'll be there talking about everything that's going on, using some tools provided by Brett Sutton and Learning Teams, Inc., and it'll be hosted by Ann Liren. So we'll be able to take a look around and see exactly what's going on. So there you go. A lot of stuff inside of the world of the multiverse, that's for sure, as you take a look at it. If you look at the little screener there is a QR code that you can take a look at. If not, the other option, of course, is you can go to safetyfm.com and click on the section that says Live Events. So that event's going on March the 31st through April the 1st. In the summer, on July the 13th, to be exact, we got something else going on. It's called Reality Shift. It's a symposium. We'll have 3 speakers there that day: Todd Conklin, Nick Weatherly, and of course yours truly here. We're going to be talking about how to take a look at reality and how that reality may shift in front of you. This one will definitely be an experience on its own. It is taking place in Orlando on July the 13th, which is a Monday, just in case if you are wondering. And we will be doing it slightly different. This time it will not be at a hotel convention center. We're actually doing it at the movies. We have a reason behind that, but would love to talk a little bit more about that. If you take a look at the screen right there, there is a QR code. You can go ahead and scan that. It'll take you directly to the site. If not, here's what will happen. I'm going to explain that to you. You can go to safetyfm.com and click on where it says live events, and that will give you the information of exactly what's going on as well. So there you go. That's what we have going on real quick inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's the way that it goes. July the 13th, 2026, or March the 31st through April the 1st. You choose your path, or matter of fact, you can do both if you're so inclined to do so. So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Anyways, with that being said, I do have some John Smalls waiting in the wing, and he wants to tell you about what the hell's going on with the Motivation Minute.
Brought to you by JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Kenny. Sir Klaus Moser said, "Education costs money, but then so does ignorance." Very true. I remember a long time ago, I had a boss that said something profound in a meeting. I was a very young manager, and my regional manager was talking to a whole room full of managers like me. The discussion of training came up. There was a program that would give our people an advantage over the people we competed with. This training was expensive, but it was good. Many people who used this program went on to do quite well. The manager wanted to implement this, but each office had to find money in their own budget. One of the local managers said, "What if we train them really well and they leave us and go to the competitor?" The regional manager quipped back, "What if we don't train them very well and they stay right here?" I laughed out loud at that. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Pakistan strikes inside Afghanistan are drawing sharp global attention.
Pakistani forces say they hit militant targets linked to recent suicide bombings, calling the action a necessary response. Afghan Taliban officials report multiple civilian deaths and lodge a sharp protest. Regional diplomats warn the exchange could strain already fragile security talks between the neighbors. Gary Beck reporting.
In western Ukraine, investigators are treating deadly overnight blasts in Lviv as a terror attack.
Officials say explosions killed a 23-year-old police officer and wounded at least 25 people in the city. Authorities describe the incident as a deliberate act meant to spread fear. Ukraine's security services have opened a major inquiry as emergency crews secure damaged areas and gather evidence. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Across the U.S. Northeast, millions are dealing with a paralyzing blizzard that forecasters say could bring more than 2 feet of snow.
Meteorologists state that parts of the region are seeing whiteout conditions and strong winds that started Sunday night and will last into Monday. Travel could become dangerous or impossible, with highways and airports facing major disruption. Local officials urge people to stay off the roads, prepare for power outages, and check on neighbors. Kyle Norris reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
In Florida, an armed man was shot by Secret Service agents near former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort, prompting a heavy security response.
Authorities say the suspect was carrying a shotgun and a fuel can when agents confronted him close to the property. The man was shot and taken into custody. His condition has not been fully disclosed. Investigators are now working to determine a motive, while security around the compound remains visibly heightened. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Public health experts are revisiting an old fear as new reporting raises questions about how well the U.S. is protected from polio.
A CBS News report notes that polio, once a scourge causing severe paralysis, still exists in parts of the world. Health officials stress that vaccination remains the best shield against any potential spread. They also warn that falling immunization rates in some communities could open the door to fresh outbreaks. Jessica Oakley reporting.
In a wide-ranging interview, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer is outlining the administration's strategy on tariffs.
Greer tells Face the Nation that the White House plans to keep pressing for what it calls fairer treatment for American exporters. He defends the president's use of broad tariffs, even after a recent Supreme Court ruling limited some measures. Greer also signals that new negotiations with key partners are underway, aiming to ease tensions while maintaining leverage. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Radio Big. USA, Canada,
Okay, here we go. Currently 54 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. As I take a look around, back in 1938, DuPont begins commercial productions of the nylon toothbrush. Let's see, in 1986, Texas Air buys Eastern Airlines for $676 million. Also back on this date, as I took a look around, radio personality in 1987, Larry King suffers a heart attack. Yeah, that occurred right there. So there you go. What else? And then in 2020, former Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein found guilty of rape and criminal sexual acts in landmark case that ignited the Me Too movement. So there you go. That all happened back on this date, on the days that I told you. So here you go. Let's talk about some birthdays going on today. Edward James Olmos turns 79. George Thorogood turns 76. And Billy Zane, yeah, from, let's see, from Titanic fame, right? Yeah, turned 60 today. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know, because I think that would be important to have some discussions about. President Trump's State of the Union address is tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time. You can catch it on major networks. So there you go. Also, tonight's Making a Million jackpot is $438 million. Here's last night winning Powerball numbers: 5, 11, 23, 29, 47. Powerball was 6, and Power Play was 2. So there you go. In some other news, the gold medal winning U.S. women's hockey team has declined President Trump's invitation to attend tonight's State of the Union address. According to NBC News, the decision comes just a day after President joked that the men's team was coming and that he had invited the women along too. President Trump had personally extended an invite during a phone call to the men's locker room after their gold medal win over Canada on Sunday. The men accepted. The women, fresh off of their own championship run, chose not to attend. So there you go. It's the illusion of choice, of course. The illusion of choice, as they like to say around there. Also, federal investigation released chilling doorbell footage showing a masked figure at the door of Nancy Guthrie's home in the upscale Catalina Foothill area in Tucson, Arizona, in the early hours of February for the 1st. The night that she disappeared, authorities say that the same unidentified person had apparently been at the house before, raising even more red flags. In the video, the suspect appeared to try to obscure the Nest camera. So there you go. Some stuff definitely going on right there as we are talking, no doubt about that. Okay, so let's get into this. At the top of the hour, I'm going to be going over to radiobig.fm. So let's make sure that we go ahead and jump over there if you're so inclined to do so, because we'll be talking about the world of music and entertainment if you would like to go over there with me. If not, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus on Safety FM, and he will be talking about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about for sure. So here's some words of wisdom for you. Your real edge isn't talent. It isn't luck. It is your refusal to let chaos run your mood. And where things get messy, loud, or stressful, most people spiral. You don't. You steady yourself. You choose to calm over your reaction, and you keep your head up while others lose theirs. The consistency, the decision to stay grounded no matter what's happening, that is what separates you. So keep that in mind. And if I can give you some advice for today, put the lazy Susan under the bathroom sink. Suddenly it organizes instead of the plastic graveyard. So there you go. Some things to think about if you are so inclined to do so. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.